It's pumpkin time, so let's step into the pumpkin patch and learn a little bit more about this seasonal favorite. Hi, I'm Alan Smith. Welcome to the show. Today we're talking about, you guessed it, pumpkins. I just love these things. All around you can see at farmers markets and grocery stores piles of pumpkins. It always puts a smile on my face. And I don't know if it's because when I was a kid I loved to carve jack-o'-lanterns, or maybe it's because I still love to carve jack-o'-lanterns. I'm telling you, we're going to have some fun with this show. Our first stop is to a pumpkin patch. Truly a magical experience for children. Then we'll visit a farmer who's growing some very unique varieties of pumpkins. These guys are beautiful, warts and all. Next, we'll look at some fun ways to use pumpkins. And finally, when you think of pumpkin recipes, you probably think of pumpkin pie. Well, wait till you see this, a savory pumpkin bisque that's out of this world. No doubt these are fascinating. In fact, did you know they've discovered pumpkin seed in Mexico that date back as far as 5000 BC? All right, I've got a little trivia question for you. Is there any place that pumpkin seed will not grow? The answer when we come back right after this. Well, I'm just pulling some things together for a little autumn get-together. You know, this really is the season for fun and festivities. I remember when I was a kid, I used to go out in my granddad's pumpkin patch, and what was so much fun was picking out just the right pumpkin. All around the country, farmers are opening up their pumpkin patches to you pickers, and the kids just love it. In rural Arkansas, we stumbled across a pumpkin patch run by Becky Naylor and Ronnie Betty.
Howdy, I'm Aunt Bee down here on the farm, and this is
Uncle Bobo.
And we're the country cousins. We want you to bring your young'uns down and let them out and play. They can get down dirty in the dirt, get lost in a maze. We'll teach them how to carve pumpkins, horse blossom tossing contest. You'll have to call and ask about that one.
We're gonna have a display of old antique John Deere tractors.
And we'll also have a pumpkin rolling contest out here with wooden spoons. Let's see how fast you are. We've got tunnels made out of hay. We've got a hay maze that they can go through and get lost and hide in and have lots of fun. We have the hay ride that goes out to the pumpkin patch that they can pick out their very own personal pumpkin. They can bring it back, and Aunt Bee will tell them how to carve it, how to paint it. I'll even tell them how to take the seeds, and they can bake those and they can actually eat them. We'll have goodies here in the general store that's made from pumpkin products. We've got pumpkin butter that is absolutely lip-slapping good on a hot homemade biscuit. The pumpkins is an introduction of fall. When you see the pumpkins start turning orange on the vine, you know fall is not too far behind. When the pumpkins are put out at the front door, you know that the harvest has been good.
This is a time of year that we should be thankful for the harvest that we've got. Yeah, we're excited about the schools coming out, kids that live in town that's never been able to see things like this, and we're excited to be able to show it to them and show them some of the past, and they might have to scratch a living out of the dirt one of these days.
Now those pumpkins at the Country Cousins farm were beautiful, but if you're looking for something just a bit out of the ordinary, then you should stay tuned. When we come back, we'll explore the colorful world of exotic pumpkins, and a little later, cooking with pumpkins. And we're not talking pies here, but a flavorful soup. Stay with us. This time of year, I'm always looking for things that are very unique for decorating. Take a look at this. This is a wire-formed pumpkin with a wonderful vine wrapped around it. But inside, you can see these glowing LED lights. And what's great about LED lights is that they're very low on energy consumption, and they will last a long time. And you may be wondering, how can he hold that up without an energy source? Well, it's because it's right back here. It's in a battery pack. Pretty good, huh? You know, if you're looking for things that are unique, you can go this route or you can just head to a pumpkin patch. My quest for the new, unusual, and exotic pumpkin led me to this farm, owned and operated by Lisa Schaefer.
When the kids come out to our farm, we do lots of activities with them, and when we're on our hay rides that go down to the actual field, we kind of explain to them what crops are being grown. We raise produce, we pass by where we do all of our produce, and they get to see where the vegetables actually come from. They're not always out of a can, and our theory here at our farm is everything's fresh from the land, not from a can. The fall season is great. Watching the kids come in, these that never get the opportunity to come out to a farm and know what agriculture is all about itself is worth the fall. Because the kids will come in, they see the animals, they see all these different things. We have a large variety of exotic stuff. We have the red warded thing, which is real bumpy. It's a bright red, unusual pumpkin. It's used for making baby food. We also have the fairy tales, which are tan to a dark green color. They're real rigid, and we sell a lot of those as a stacker type pumpkin. We have the Cinderellas, which are flat and bright orange. We have the white pumpkins, which is super for soups if you like pumpkin soup. We have Gerardelles, which are also a light to medium green color that is really beautiful in a stacker when you're making those. We also have what they call the Long Island cheese. It is a tan color and it really makes the best pumpkin pie. It just has a better texture than your original pie pumpkin does. This is a new pumpkin to us. We've got to find us a name for it. It was supposed to be a full moon, which is a new variety of white pumpkin that they have came out with. And we had them planted beside of the Gerardelles, and when the bees cross-pollinated them, we came up with a new variety of our own, I guess, at our farm because it turned out to be green, it has cracks in it, and I promise you won't find it anywhere else. Our biggest orange one has gotten to be right at 200 pounds. Is our big pumpkin, our prize winner. We have all types of gourds. Our snake gourds, we have them that actually look like snakes curled up. We have some that where they've grown in the field, it looks like a swan eating a snake. It's growing underneath the swan's neck. Just different types of things that Mother Nature takes care of for us to give us the exotic atmosphere here at our farm.
You know, I have had so much fun this holiday season playing around with some different ideas, particularly for Halloween. Just take a look at this line of lights in this amber color. They're perfect for creating something like this. Boo! Isn't it spooktacular? Well, these are made by GKI and they are LED lights, meaning that they're a light emitting diode. Very good with energy consumption, and as I've said before, they last a very long time, and there's so many creative things you can do with them. What I did here is took 3 lumina pumpkins, one large, one slightly smaller, and one smaller yet again, and stacked them up and did this little 3 pumpkin totem, if you will. And I just placed them in a wire basket and stuffed a bunch of straw around the base. But I carved a hole all the way up through the center of them, except for the little guy on top, okay? And then that allowed me to run my hand up through and fill in one of these little lights into each one of these spots to spell out boo. Now, if you like this, hang on, because after the break, we've got some great ideas for your Halloween celebration. Before we head to a break, here's one more idea for getting color in the garden. Now, this is a plant with a funny name. It's called a calabrachoa. And now with the introduction of super bells, home gardeners are going to love this plant because of its disease tolerance and self-cleaning. It's also low-growing and packed with vigorous blooms. Super Bell's red is covered in deep red flowers that look great in combination with orange, purple, and golden yellow. Hey, you need to remember there's more color for the garden on the web at pallensmith.com. There's no doubt about it, I love to decorate for Halloween. It is so much fun. So I thought I'd give you a tour around my house and show you some of the Halloween displays I've put together this year. We can start right here on the steps. What I've created is a series of luminaries going up each step, and I punctuated them with gourds. Now, if you look down in these luminary sacks, you'll find not a candle burning, but actually an LED votive. Yes, these are battery operated, so I don't have to worry about these paper sacks catching on fire. Now if we move a little closer to the front, right up to the front door, take a look at this wreath. It's made of twigs, spray painted black, and behind them I worked in some amber colored LED lights. Now what's great about these is they don't get hot like conventional Christmas lights that we put on our Christmas trees. So I don't mind working them into these dead branches. And also I perched a raven up at the top just to look down at you when you come by for trick-or-treating. Now take a look at these little guys. They're the perfect party favor for a Halloween party. These are little plastic pumpkins that are planted with a range of sedums. I just think they're adorable. Now take a look at this duo. I had a lot of fun carving these, and what I've done is I've used little LED votive lights in there so I don't have to worry about fire. All I did is take an old garden urn, lay some straw in it, and then stack these two fellows together. You know, several years ago when my nephew was about 4 years old, I wanted to do some Halloween decorating with him, but, well, he was just too young to do carving. So we came up with another alternative which was very safe for him. You see, rather than using a sharp knife, I let him use the lid of a jar to scrape all the insides out. And then the carving of the face, well, that was done with a melon scoop. Now another option for little ones is to simply let them paint pumpkins. It's messy and fun, and you'd be surprised at how creative they can get. Now, when you have old Jack carved, one thing you might want to consider is put a little petroleum jelly on the cut areas. This helps hold the moisture, and he'll last much longer. Now, if carving a face on a pumpkin isn't your thing, you might consider using a pumpkin as a container for seasonal mums. Just cut out the top, remove the seeds, and punch out a couple of drain holes in the bottom. Pumpkins can also make interesting containers for floral centerpieces. Those are just a few ideas for you to consider. The main thing is don't be spooked by the vast array of ways to use pumpkins. We have a wide range of Halloween projects online with easy to follow instructions, so check it out at plandsmith.com. You know, natural disasters can certainly change the way we look at our gardens. I was in South Carolina, in fact in Charleston several years ago, where I visited with gardeners who had survived Hurricane Hugo. Well, the transformation of the landscape after that disaster was huge. I had a chance to visit the International Master Gardeners Conference with Terry Parker from Louisiana, where he talked about the challenges Louisiana gardeners are facing after Katrina.
I'm from Covington, Louisiana in St. Tammany Parish, which is about 25 to 30 miles north of New Orleans, Louisiana. But it's mostly becoming like a bedroom community of New Orleans. It's becoming from rural to more urban, particularly after the hurricane with Katrina, that a lot of people were transplanted to our area. I went through the LSU Cooperative Extension Service Master Gardener Program, and I finished in November of last year. And as part of that program, we have 40 hours of work to do, so I've had a lot of opportunities to help in a local community. One of the projects I did was at my church. We redid some of the landscaping, and one of the flowers that we chose was the double knockout rose. And I guess like Alan, I've gotten to where I want to go back to when I was younger, having chickens and, you know, growing things and all. So I've done the same thing with square foot vegetable gardening, raising chickens. I do it on a smaller scale. I have about 3 acres.
Up next, a trip to the Viking Cooking School in Dallas, where they're transforming pumpkins into an out-of-this-world bisque. Stick around for the savory details. When you think of cooking with pumpkins, thoughts of a delicious pumpkin pie no doubt come to mind. Well, get ready to think of pumpkins in a new way. We visited the Viking Cooking School at Milestone Culinary Arts Center in Dallas, where Chef Sharon Van Meter created a savory pumpkin bisque.
We're going to do a pumpkin bisque today, and one of the ways we start is we do a bouquet garni, which will infuse the flavors into the bisque. I like to do natural, and we put in some sprigs of thyme. We have some sage. Sage is great with pumpkin. And some bay leaves, and we've tied it with a green onion. Now let's get started with the bisque. We're going to take about 2 tablespoons of the butter. We want to melt this butter so that we can add in all the flavor ingredients. About 2 cloves of garlic, and mince those so that the flavor distributes evenly. 1 small onion, or medium if you really like onions, and 2 leeks. Always remember to soak your leeks because they absorb a lot of dirt from the earth. The last thing we're going to add is a couple of stalks of celery. These need to saute until they're translucent, about 2, maybe 3 minutes. Next, we want to add the pumpkin. We've taken a couple of cups of pumpkin, fresh pumpkin here, and try to use pumpkin. If you've never cooked with it, it's kind of fun. Pumpkins, incredibly, are 90% water. And so when they say drink a glass of water, this is it. Just have your pumpkin soup. We're going to stir that just a bit. Next, we'll add in some chicken stock, a couple quarts. What I like about this soup, it's not a cream-based soup. The pumpkin actually disintegrates to the point where it'll thicken itself, and that makes it capable of not adding cream to it, which we do in some other soups for a thickening agent. So we're going to let this sit for about probably 20 minutes. We're going to let it, and we put our bouquet garni in there to finish the product, and we're going to simmer this for about 20 minutes until the pumpkin softens. It looks like we've gotten to the point where the pumpkin is softened enough to puree. Our next step would be pulling the bouquet garni remnants out. And if it's come apart during the cooking process, don't worry, just use some tongs and get all the little pieces of green out. I'm going to use an emulsion blender on this, and if you don't have one of these, pick one up. They're great, great pieces of equipment. I think that's pretty good. I like mine just a little bit thicker than most. If you wanted a smoother consistency, I would put it in a commercial blender or a household blender. Don't be afraid to taste at this point because we're going to add some salt and pepper to taste and some sherry. Okay, I think that's it. How perfect is this for a fall dinner or an afternoon lunch?
Well, that's all the time we have for today's show. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I have. Any of the ideas that you saw on the show that you like, they're on the website, pallensmith.com. Until next time, you have a safe and happy Halloween. From the garden, I'm Alan Smith.
In this garden I dream of a bed of flowers. Bluebirds sing of the beauty all around us. And every time the sun comes out, I can't help but smile. Oh, no, I can't help but smile.